What you just saw is the final product, but before I got into that point, I had the belief we all have when we think about building a home or garage gym. It's cheaper in the long run. You get rid of the commute, the crazy gym antiques, the membership fees. In short, you invest once and you're set. At least that's what I told myself when going into this. And to be fair, I wasn't reckless about it. I didn't chase premium brands. I went where most people go when they're trying to be smart with their money. We are talking Facebook Marketplace, IKEA, Temu, Amazon, the kind of places where you feel like you're winning just by not overpaying. I even set a number, 4,000 Australian dollars, which is roughly around 3,800 American dollars. If you'd ask me, that was a budget that felt responsible and realistic. The kind of number where if you stick to it, you walk away feeling like you did things the right way. But recently, I did something I should have done early. I went back and pulled every receipt, every order, and added everything up. That's when I realized something uncomfortable. The total itself isn't the most interesting and shocking part, because if you've ever bought something and built everything else around it, you've done this too. Now, before we get into that final amount, it started the way most garage gyms do. A good deal that included a set of rug plates, a barbell, a bench, and a couple pairs of dumbbells, all bundled together on Facebook Marketplace for $500. Exactly the kind of start you want. Grabbing foundational pieces at a fraction of their retail cost. And I remember thinking to myself, this is exactly how you do it. Efficient and, more importantly, still within their $4,000 budget. Once I had that, I told myself the only thing that I needed was a rack that would enable me to bench and squat. I even got a few sessions in, and for a moment I was like, the plan is working. Everything else felt optional until the space around it started asking for more. A few extra sessions later, I caught myself thinking, I want a bit of variety. And just like that, one decision turned into the next. A functional trainer, a leg press and hack squat combo, leg extension, ab crunch machine, and more dumbbells. At that point, it wasn't really a plan anymore. It was momentum. I then moved it beyond equipment, because now I didn't just want a space filled with bolts and steel. I wanted it to be a spectacle for the senses. So I painted one wall and the ceiling, and that got rid of the dingy garage look. And in that moment, it felt like the right move. But what I didn't realize at the time was something else was in effect. Every decision was quietly raising the standard for everything else that came after it. With the walls out of the way, it was time to light up the chaos, chalk up another $100+ over the budget. After lighting, the floor didn't feel right anymore, because dropping weights on bare concrete is a bad idea, even though I had bumper plates. Now, at first I wanted to cover the areas where I'd be lifting the most, but I was like, I might as well cover the entire garage. One square at a time, I adjusted, cut, and fit each and every piece, and by the time I was done, the messy garage wasn't anywhere to be seen. It was beginning to look like the spectacle our senses would love to see, but I was halfway finished. Once again, I thought to myself, a gym without mirrors isn't complete, so the mirrors went up, and behind those mirrors, LED strips. Not necessary, but once I pictured what the space could look like, it was hard to ignore. Unbeknownst to me, I felt like I was making isolated decisions, small fixes, and nothing major. With the mirrors on the wall, I was like, the unpainted walls look alright, but they'd look way better with slat panels. And just like that, the slat panels covered every inch of white space. By that point, a theme was there, so ensuring thematic flow became a no-brainer. And just like that, the NBN connection box got a cover with walnut slat panels. The pieces of equipment that looked out of place because of their color would be an eyesore, so I painted them. The dumbbell rack, one of the benches, and the ab crunch machine. And in the moment, it didn't feel like an extra cost. It felt like alignment. But looking back, that wasn't just a touch-up. That was an extra 99 Australian dollars ballooning the budget and me maintaining a standard I'd raised. After that, the big pieces started coming in, starting with the Cortex SM25 functional trainer. This wasn't just another piece, this was the centerpiece. And while it did everything I needed, I went ahead and added a chest fly attachment as well as JAMA arms. At the time, it made perfect sense. Were they necessary? Absolutely not. Then came the leg press and hack squat combo. Same logic, I'll have more versatility. After that, the leg extension and curl machine rolled in, and by that point, I wasn't thinking about the budget anymore. I was thinking about gaps. What's missing? What completes the setup? That's where my head was at. When I gave the leg press and hack squat machine a test run, I ran into a problem I didn't expect. With my black bumper plates, I could only fit 2 on each side before the plate horns were maxed out, which meant there was a ceiling I couldn't push past. If you've been paying attention, I wasn't going to let that slide, so I went back to the market. Over there, I picked calibrated plates, which meant I could load up and go heavier. Again, in the moment, it felt like a no-brainer, but looking back, that wasn't an addition. It was the system I'd created adapting to itself. From there, everything else came in. The dumbbells, the ab crunch machine I bought without seeing, the treadmill that was free, the spin bike that was also free, the IKEA storage, the pegboards, the fridge, then the smaller things like cable management, lamps, posters, plants, and little paint touch-ups. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I never stopped to add everything up because as long as each decision made sense, there was no reason to. If you asked me a few days into this build how much I'd spent, I would have told you I went over the budget, but I won't have given you a number. And looking back, that's just wild. So, what did it actually cost after every I might as well? $13,434.50. That's around 8,700 American dollars. Triple the amount I'd set out for this build. And to be honest, it's just wild how normal it felt getting to this amount. Because at no point did I feel like I'd lost control. I didn't blow the budget in one moment. I drifted past it with logic that justified every decision at the time, and that's the interesting and shocking bit I mentioned earlier. There's actually a name for it. It's called the Diderot effect. You upgrade one thing and it raises the standard for everything else. The worst bit is you don't feel like you're overspending when it's happening. It always feels like progress. A perfect example is when you buy a new phone. Before you know it, you've got a case, a screen protector, as well as a lens protector. Now, to be honest, I'm still doing it. I added a rowing machine and painted it black to match everything else, but it didn't stop there. I also picked up a barbell and plate rack. The difference now is I'm aware of it and I try to catch myself before thinking about the next upgrade. Well, there you have it guys. I hope you enjoyed and found this video helpful. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. While at it, you might as well watch the entire build here. Until then, people of the internet, I'm signing out. See you over here.